Hey there, how you doing? Charlie Winters here with horse racing tips for Epsom Oaks Day on the 31st of May. Well, Thursday's selection was very disappointing. Two placed. The nap of the day, I don't think it handled the course, but it ran a really poor race. So let's move on to Epsom on Friday. I'm not feeling it. I've looked at the card and it's like there are too many there are too many horses running that I am actually watching. Is tomorrow the day? I don't think it is. I think a lot of them are being saved for Ascot and York. So these are my selections. What do I think? I think Sylvester de Souza has got some very interesting mounts at decent prices. David O'Meara has got a lot of handicap horses that are ready to win. Is tomorrow the day? I don't know. Bo Pedro's running, and I've been backing Bo Pedro. Are they wanting it to win at Epsom? Are they wanting it to win at York? Are they wanting it to win at Royal Ascot? I don't know. But it's ready to win. Same with Blue for You by David O'Meara. Ready to win. Orban, handicapped to win still. And there's another one. There's another one by David O'Meara. It's don't get me wrong. I love competitive handicaps and competitive races, but there's so many horses that are ready and handicapped to win that are running the same race. So let me get into it. So this is for Valentino Lee. So I'm going to get straight into it. So it's a 15 pence each way, lucky 15. And what I've had also, I've had £20 stake, and basically I've had a 15 pence each way, lucky 15, and a 25 pence each way accumulator on these selections. The first selection is J Street at 25 to 1 in the 2 o'clock at Epsom. This is the Woodcut Stakes. Craig Lister trains this horse. I think he had 4th or 5th in this race, not beaten a million miles. Nick Bradley has got about 20 runners in this field. I think he's got 5 runners out of like an 11 strong field. They're only paying first 3. They've been a bit crafty there. And I think you might see a Nick Bradley horse in the places. And I think this has got a decent chance. There is a shorter price one, but I just think this horse has got a chance. And I believe it's Sylvester de Souza on this selection. The second selection is Orban at 13 to 2 in the 2:35 at Epsom, paying 6 places instead of 4. 13 to 2 is a poor price when when they're paying 6, but I do think it's got a chance, and it is going to be a quick pace, and I think this will be a closing hand over fist. I also believe this is Sylvester de Souza, and as I said, there are so many well handicapped horses in this race. It's hard to pick a selection. The third selection is Sweet Reward at 9 to 1 in the 3:45 at Epsom, paying 5 places instead of 3. I'm a fan of Jonathan Portman, and I've also backed another one of his tomorrow. It's a small-time trainer, but does very well. This horse has, I believe, either won or ran well round Epsom in the past. 9 to 1. I backed it last time when it rallied again at Newbury. I think it was to get an OK, but it was to get an each-way accumulator up, I think, or we might have just missed one leg. But I think it was one of our profitable days. So Sweet Reward is a selection. And in the Oaks, this isn't the preferred selection in the Oaks, but I think this horse, if this is the intention, could get a relatively easy lead. And I'm like, we don't know what the pace is going to be like. But Ralph Beckett's got, I think it's 4 or 5 in the race. And I think this one will be prominent. So it's Cwood at 50 to 1 in the 4:30 at Epsom, paying 5 places instead of 3. And the reason why I've gone for it, partly, is because the extra place races, because they're paying out on 5 places in a field of 12. That's nearly a 50%. You just need your horse come in the first half of the field pretty much. But I believe if there's a non-runner, it'll take it down to 4. So 4 out of 11. But I think it's got a decent chance. There are an awful lot of horses in this race that have done well over shorter, and I believe they will be travelling well into like as they turn in the corner. I think they'll be travelling well. There might be an awful lot that are travelling well, but don't find a great deal. This horse, we need it to be prominent, and it will stay. So Sylvester de Souza is a very good jockey, and I believe all 4 of those selections are ridden by him. So this is the main bet, and it's still keep the stakes small, please. I'm saying that I'll put 20 quid on. So it's a 30 pence each way, lucky 15, and a 50 pence each way accumulator. The first selection is J Street again. So I backed this horse twice. I just think it could sneak a place. I probably made a bit of a daft mistake really, because my main selection I've only backed it once, but I'm happy with that because I've actually had a single on it each way. So yeah, J Street 25 to 1, 2 o'clock at Epsom. The next selection is 2 Tempton at 28 to 1, too big a price. In the 2.35 at Epsom, paying 6 places instead of 4. Disappointed last time, but it was drawn on the wrong side. I don't mean completely wrong side. It was slightly inconvenienced. Then when the groups merged, it didn't run that well. Prior to that, it had ran 2 very good races. Well, I think it's won twice before that and posted some quite decent marks. Well, this horse can still be dangerous. It's Jonathan Portman again, and I think it's David Egan that rides it. I could be wrong, but it doesn't really matter. As long as somebody's riding it. Third selection is Derry Lad at 6 to 1 in the 3.45 at Epsom, paying 5 places instead of 3. Once again, there are so many selections I could have picked. I've tipped this horse before when it ran over 1 mile 2 on heavy ground at Haydock. It's from Ireland, and it's very well handicapped. Last season, it was running very well off a slightly higher mark than this. It ran an absolute absolute cracker last time. I think it was off at either 81 or 82. Hayley Turner takes the man, and I don't very often back Hayley Turner, but she is quite good at these big meetings, and I think she could be pretty decent at Haydock. Hayley Turner could be pretty decent at Epsom tomorrow, and I think she could give this one a decent ride. And she only lives 10 mile away, or she used to anyway, from where I live. And the horse that I probably fancy, a strong fancy, but it needs to improve. So this is my selection in the Epsom Oaks Group 1, and it is Rubies Are Red at 6 to 1 in the 4.30 at Epsom, paying 5 places instead of 3. This horse is showing gigantic improvement with every single run it's made, but it's had to, because its most recent run was only good enough to be even slightly behind these selections. But I think this horse is I think it's beginning to click with this horse. I really hope it handles the course, because it's done what typical Galileos do. They hold their head on one side, but it is rapidly improving. On its debut, if you want to look at its run, on its debut, it found a lot of trouble, and it wasn't an unlucky loser. It's just like every bit of trouble it found it. The jockey gave it 1 tap, I think it was, and it flew. Well, it looked like it was going to weaken into about 5th, but it flew for 3rd place. Then it ran a decent race on the next time out. I think it was favourite, but there's a few lines of form. I think is it Galileo Dame, or Dame Galileo? There's a few lines of form with a few selections that are ran against each other. And don't get me wrong, it is still behind those, but I think it's learning very quickly. And then last time was by far its best run. It was. I watched the race today, and I think is it You Got to Me set a decent pace. I didn't really look at the fractions, and it held on in the end. But there are a few that weren't too far behind it. I think it poached like a 5 or 6 length lead from the start, or from early on, and it maintained that. But this horse, it was nearly tailed off. It was miles behind. It must have been 10 lengths behind, if not a bit more, turning into the straight, and it absolutely flew. And it's like it really, I think, understood towards the end exactly what it should have been doing. The fact that I think they're obviously they don't want one horse. I think they've only got one horse in this, apart from Rubies Are Red. I think it's Ylang. Well, I'm sure they would want a backup just in case Ylang doesn't stay or something happens, because it's only been run over 7 furlongs and a mile. So Rubies Are Red, in my opinion, definite stayer. I think this horse should be 4th or 5th all the way round. And then I believe if the jockey can take it more towards the middle of the course, to taking the effect of the camber Otherwise, I think it could be all over the place, this horse, because in my opinion, it's still very green, but I think it's very talented. So Rubies Are Red. You could say it's the nap. It's my. I like the look of it. I like the profile of the horse. It's rapidly improving, but it needs to rapidly improve even more. And I've had a £2.50 each way single on it, so £2.50 each way on Rubies Are Red. So it's £20 staked. If you give me a like, I'm 10 minutes in. Crikey, 10 minutes in and spent £20 and don't really fancy them. Still pulling my hair out and scratching my head. David O'Meara could have a cracking day, and I could be pulling my hair out after seeing the results. But these are the selections. Please keep the stakes really small. Do not think that because I've had a good couple of weeks that Charlie's riding his luck. He's like, we're laughing here. Let's save it till Saturday and see what happens then. I've already been using ChatGPT to look at the draw biases and also adding the forecast weather in. And it's very interesting because I tested it with Redcar and they told me what I wanted to hear with Redcar, that it does favour the far side when the stores are this, stores are that. So I'll explain more in tomorrow's video for Saturday. So you can give me a like. You will not even be listening to me now because there's no more selections. So I wish you the very best of luck. If you fancy some horses tomorrow, put them in the description. And the guy who recommended Mickey D's channel, quick question for you. Why are you here? Fair play. You might be enjoying his channel. That's fine. I'm sure it's a cracking channel. But the fact that you're watching my video, yeah, probably speaks volumes. Anyway, the very best of luck. Charlie Winters, over and out. Cheers, mate.